Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with you at Technology and Social Media News. If you want to be a part of this technology conversation, you must find us on SABC Network. Now that's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. You can also use the hashtag SABC Network. Here's what's coming up in the program. Delegates from about 50 countries have been meeting at the Science Forum in Pretoria. Technology is being used to assist some of those participating in the tough Volvo Ocean race. Now, with Facebook testing Facebook Kids, today our discussion looks at how social media companies are trying to grow their numbers. Nelisa Ngolana from PR Trend ZA is in studio for that one. Hello, Nelisa.
Hello, Spumelele.
Now, Nelisa, is social media the right space for children?
There are pros and cons to that. I think if there's a carefully regulated environment, it can work.
Yeah.
With parents being very hands-on and involved in that process.
All right, hold it there. We'll have a further discussion later on in the program. But first, let's start with your social media and technology news. Now, those attending the Science Forum in South Africa's capital have been discussing how tech can help in social development. Producer Sandile Hlangani was there.
Thousands of delegates from more than 50 countries gathered at the CSIR Conference Center in Pretoria for the 3rd Annual Science Forum South Africa. Here, there were scientists, government representatives, and industry leaders.
A few things we're trying to do by having the Science Forum. The first that we're trying to do is have people talk about science and what it means for us and the world that we live in. So it's not only scientists who come to the Science Forum. In fact, we make a big effort to make sure that there's a whole lot of different role players in society who are part of the Science Forum. The second very, very big aim of the Science Forum is to recognize and celebrate South African as well as African science and technology. We need to show that as a continent and as a country, we are on the forefront of science and technology. We're one of many players. And the third is to get people to network, to learn new things, to find new partners, and hopefully out of the Science Forum, people will be able to develop new partnerships and new collaborations.
The Science and Technology Department says the forum has a special focus to promote Pan-African cooperation in the field. It also says it wants to promote innovation and inclusive development.
We're creating a platform for networking, for building international partnerships, because today some of the best science is done through international collaboration. Some of the best papers produced by South African researchers are with colleagues from a multiple number of countries. So this importance of scientists working together, generating a range of ideas that they then synthesize to produce really exciting scientific outcomes, is a very important part of the opportunities created at Science Forum South Africa.
This forum has become synonymous with building bridges to promote Africa's growth and development through innovation, science, and collaboration.
Some scientists feel that their space holds solutions in solving some of the problems we face in our communities.
Science holds a solution to many of the problems that we're facing in Africa, including poverty and malnutrition and lack of education. So, we need science to be strong in every African country.
The forum has become an annual highlight for the South African science community and has achieved global acclaim as Africa's premier public platform for debate on science and its role in society.
Now, the Volvo Ocean race is currently moving around different cities internationally. The boats have left Cape Town in South Africa for Melbourne, Australia. But have you ever wondered what kind of technology gets used to ensure that those racing can improve their data? SAP is helping one of the teams with that, and I got a chance to help sail the Exo Nobel boat during a mini race. It's a clear, scorching hot day in Cape Town when I and a few others get to participate in a short race. I'm in the Exo Nobel, one of the boats competing in the Volvo Ocean Race. On other days, those racing can experience harsh conditions at sea as they can face storms, heavy winds and massive waves sometimes. SAP has brought in technology to monitor the team and possibly help them improve their times.
We have equipped the crew with wearables that are IoT devices, Internet of Things essentially, that will collect biometric data from the crew with the idea to optimize performance and enable better decision making during the race, pre the next leg, post the next leg, to be able to look back at the data from the previous leg. All of this increased insight to improve performance in the race scenario.
They use what seems to be simple smartwatches that are available in shops. They can collect the data even when there's no internet access. But it's when they dock in cities like Cape Town, Melbourne and Hong Kong that this data can be analyzed further.
We can't transmit any data off the yacht with the biometric edge, and we can't transmit any data to the yacht while they're underway. So what we've done is kind of parceled it into two areas. One is when they're offshore, the sailors, and we back them up with some analytics on board that is done all on the small computer, and it displays their heart rate, their calories burned, all that, so they can make choices. And then onshore, when we get back, we can upload it to the cloud. And from there, we can use SAP's analytic power and help make predictive algorithms and help find trends and things that we can then hopefully apply on the next leg.
SAP says this kind of data analysis can be used in many spaces in Africa, including in rural hospitals.
For example, if you're not able to have the medical experts visiting each location in rural areas, these kind of wearable devices can actually collect data from the patients visiting the clinic. Some preliminary analytics can take place on the edge even without connectivity, and when connectivity is achieved, this data can be uploaded to the SAP Cloud platform, for example, where advanced analytics can be done and solutions administered to patients remotely. And telemedicine is the name for remote medical services deliveries, and this is becoming increasingly important as we have better connectivity worldwide, better devices, better data will give us better insights to not only improve performance but also longevity.
Those participating in the race say using this technology during the competition isn't cheating.
It's 100% compliant, and it is available to every other team as well if they wanted it.
The race lasts a period of about 9 months. Young Viz students are working on a robotic prosthetic hand that is expected to be affordable.
A team of electrical engineering students at the University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg have been working on a prosthetic hand, which when perfected is expected to be affordable while still offering advanced features that can allow users greater human control. This is made possible with the use of 3D printing technology.
The project started when I was doing my master's research. I was looking for an application for control engineering in the body. And I stumbled across this idea where you can control a robotic prosthetic hand with neural signals from the body. So I thought to myself, that's something really valuable. Imagine the case where a person doesn't have a hand, and here you provide them with this robotic prosthetic hand, and now all of a sudden they're able to do things that they thought they would never be able to do again. So there's a huge benefit to people who have had amputations, and even other people who have had motor impairments, for them to be able to use their hand in sort of as normal people would.
The prosthetic hand is prompted by the movement of muscles controlled by the brain, allowing neural influence not seen in many of the basic models that are more widely available.
The big advancement that we brought to the hand this year was the ability to control the grip strength of the hand, but more fundamentally was adding sensory feedback to the hand so that the patient or amputee could actually start feeling what the hand is feeling in the same way that their normal hand would be able to feel. And this would give them a much greater sense of embodying the hand.
Robotic limbs can cost over $10,000 US. However, these students say they can keep the cost of production low compared to commercially available prosthetics with the same capabilities. They also said that they hope that their prototype can be tested on amputees within the next 3 years before it can be produced and sold commercially.
Social media companies are constantly trying to grow their number of users. Nelisa Ngulana from PR Trends ZA is in studio for that one. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Stay with us. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Now, Facebook is testing a messaging app for children. The social network says it's targeting kids under the age of 13. Now, various researchers have said that even teenagers prefer Instagram and Snapchat to Facebook. Messenger Kids comes with a variety of controls for parents. Parents will pretty much be in charge as they are the only ones who can add or delete friends on behalf of their children. Now, Facebook is not the only one trying to appeal to new audiences. Snapchat has said that it's going to revamp. Some say this is because Snapchat is popular with teenagers and millennials and would now like to attract older audiences who are over the age of 35. Joining me in studio to discuss these issues is Nelisa Ngulana from PR Trends ZA. Hello and thank you for being a part of our network.
Hi, Malele. Thanks for having me.
Now, Nelisa, kids are still trying to figure out how to make friends, how to navigate their way through the world. Is social media the right platform for them?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think it is useful that kids get to engage with technology at an early age. No, because it is hard to actually police and monitor what your kids get access to and what they see. Even though, I mean, they say that there are parental controls and things like that. As a parent, I mean, as a parent myself, I know that I'm not able to constantly check on what my daughter is looking at on her phone all the time. I certainly wouldn't be able to be there approving every single friend every single time she wants to. I mean, it's not a it's not a realistic thing to think that you could monitor it. So it's a yes and a no.
What would the problem be with kids being on social media?
The problem is that I think it's not so much as the kids themselves, it's so much what's out there in the world. I mean, I think it's a societal problem that is just not unique to social media or technology. We know that we don't live in a safe world. And also a lot of these social media networks, for example, like YouTube and Facebook, they use a lot of, they have a lot of automation that happens. So it's very much a kind of like algorithm-based way of generating content. So some unwanted bits of content do seep through. I know that's a challenge that on YouTube Kids they've had, where kids get to see creepy, like violent videos.
Let's talk about that, because YouTube does have a similar platform that targets kids. What's this creepy, violent content you're talking about? What actually happens?
So, for example, you know, a child will be watching a, you know, normal Disney-like video, that's meant to be kid-friendly, and then all of a sudden, it becomes a killing spree and all of that. So you can't really control those kinds of things. So they do creep in. But I'm sure maybe Facebook has learned a lot from the YouTube Kids experience. They might bring, they might put out a better product for this Facebook Messenger app that they're trying.
As I mentioned in the intro, they're not the only ones trying to grow audiences.
Yeah.
Snapchat is trying to gain audiences over the age of 35.
Yes, primarily because I think it's also to do with revenue generation. Over 35s have money, and for kind of, if they can have substantial amount of that market, they're able to bring in a certain kind of revenue generation model. So it makes sense for them to want to evolve because that's what's working for Facebook.
Facebook is, though, popular with older audiences.
Yes.
It's not really popular with teenagers.
No, it's not. I think a lot of teens are drawn more to Snapchat and Instagram because of the visual nature of it. More than Facebook. I mean, Snapchat also has, was also first with this sharing of videos that disappear and all of that. So there's been an interesting kind of cat and mouse game between Snapchat and Facebook because Snapchat came out first with the stories. Facebook tried to copy that.
Yeah.
And now Snapchat is trying to
copy Facebook.
They're trying to get Facebook's older audience. I mean, as an over 35 myself, I've struggled with Snapchat. I have to know how it works as a comms and PR person so that I can advise clients. But yeah, it's not a yeah.
Instagram maybe is that a trade-off?
Yeah, but you see the thing, it's great with Snapchat because Snapchat, I mean, Facebook's kind of captured us because YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp are all the same family of apps. So it's actually quite nice that Snapchat is outside of that space, so you can get a different sense of it. But yeah, I'm not a Snapchat person.
But is there room, Nelisa, for all these platforms to grow, or should they just stick with the audiences that they already have because they obviously serve different purposes? Hence, some are popular with younger audiences and some are popular with older audiences.
Yeah, I think Facebook is probably hitting that space of, when you the biggest in the business, you have to try and it becomes harder to become nimble and change. I think there is space. I mean, technology is constantly evolving. They have the money and the resources to kind of try and be, ahead of time. They should try. I think it's great that they're experimenting with different kind of things, but when it comes to obviously the Facebook Kids Messenger app, it's a clear case of them trying to groom loyalty from an early age. Because if you start using Facebook Messenger from the time you're 6, that's what you know, and that's your first contact with social media, and that's why Facebook is having a hard time. Overtaking Snapchat.
All right, Nelisa Ngulana, thank you very much for joining us and being a part of our network.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now Nelisa Ngulana there is with PR Trends ZA. We also caught up with actress Nompilo Maphumulo, and she told us about her favorite piece of technology.
Some of you know me from Uzalo. I mean, most of you know me from Uzalo. As Intwana Yako, Maklapashe, Intombe Poisa, Konkeloko. Yeah, I'm here to tell you that my favorite gadget is a Huawei P9. Can't tell me anything.
Now, hashtag SABC Network, or find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with the program. Now, Uber has been reported to paying a 20-year-old hacker and a young American entrepreneur plans to start a Silicon Valley in France. These are some of the tech stories that made headlines in the last week.
A 20-year-old Florida man was responsible for the large data breach at Uber Technologies Inc. last year and was paid by Uber to destroy the data through a so-called bug bounty program normally used to identify small code vulnerabilities. 3 people familiar with the events have told Reuters. Uber announced on November 21st that the personal data of 57 million passengers and 600,000 drivers was stolen in a breach that occurred in October 2016, and that it paid the hacker $100,000 to destroy the information. But the company did not reveal any information about the hacker or how it paid him the money. Now heading over to France. US entrepreneur bets on new Silicon Valley in West France. 32-year-old Rob Spiro left San Francisco to settle in France with his wife and kid in 2016. The family chose a mid-sized city on France's west coast over Paris' bourgeois startup scene.
What I love about Nantes is it's a city with great values and a great quality of life. It really encapsulates what's great about France, people who really care about their daily lives and the quality of their daily lives and celebrate it in interesting ways. At the same time, it's a really dynamic city with tons of creative energy, tons of economic activity.
Co-founder and CEO of Nantes-based small ad startup Nicolas Davou, whose startup is advised by Spiro's accelerator, also acknowledges that the western French city has become a haven for growing companies and an attractive alternative to Paris. Now heading over to the UK. Researchers are creating a library of movement to capture the characteristics of how different dog breeds move in order to make animals portrayed in animation or motion capture performances on screen more realistic.
We've got ultra high definition cameras. They're recognizing that's why the dogs are wearing colored patterns on them. Because if you have several cameras, it's technically called photogrammetry. If you have several cameras can see the same pattern, you can work out where that pattern is in space. So then you can make a 3-dimensional reconstruction. And we're also using the traditional optical motion capture like they use on Planet of the Apes. But it means we can use that if we're experimenting with one of the others and we're not quite sure whether it's worked, we can use at least maybe the optical as the ground truth. We can say, well, we know that's a robust, reliable way of capturing, and we can know if we're trying different techniques, we know we can refer back to that and see whether we got it right or not. But this is about acquiring data to actually use later. It's like teaching the computer to animate.
Motion capture is a process which sees actors portray characters that are rendered digitally on screen. The actors wear special suits marked with motion trackers and face scanners so their movements and expressions can be used to power animated characters. The researchers plan to expand the project to cats next year and eventually see a time when actors will be able to transform into any kind of animal avatar.
This week, our Twitter poll is asking which social networking platform is your favorite. Now, a huge 76% of respondents say Twitter. That is evidently in first place. 7% say Instagram. Maybe it's because of the amount of data it charles. 12% of those that responded say Facebook. That figure is in second place. In last place are 5% of respondents who say other social networking platforms. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. We leave you with some of the visuals of the boats competing in the epic Volvo Ocean Race. They have left Cape Town and should be headed for Melbourne in Australia. For me and the rest of the network team, have a good one. Bye-bye.